After I saw everyone off, I sighed. As my breath blew white, I looked up to the sky. The moon was a full circle, watching silently. They would all be going to battle. If I went, I would only be in the way. Or perhaps that was simply an excuse, to allow myself to feel better for staying behind, because I didn't know what to say to Heisuke. Harada and Nagakura are his best friends. If anyone can bring him back, they can. My mind occupied with worried thoughts of Heisuke and the others, I wandered around the compound and before long found myself outside. I was about to go back in when I heard footsteps running toward me. You know, this would be a perfect time for Kazuma to attack again. Oh, hello. Yamazaki?
What are you doing out here? You aren't supposed to go out alone.
Oh, sorry.
No, it doesn't matter. We don't have time. This is serious. I need to get everyone into the main hall. Can you help me round them all up? Quickly now.
Serious? What's serious? What happened? The main hall was noisy, even though most of the Shinsengumi was elsewhere.
Souji is resting, so I decided to leave him be. Is that alright?
Yes, that's fine. Alright, I can't wait any longer. We'll just have to start without Shimada.
Has something happened? I'd never seen Yamazaki so impatient. Whatever it was that he had to say, it had to be big. He was making me nervous. I waited for Yamazaki to continue.
Did Ito's assassination not go as planned?
No, the assassination was a success.
Wow. Rest in peace, Ito.
And we were able to lure the guard to Aburano Koji with his body and surround them.
So few words to mark the death of a man. But Yamazaki pressed forward, and I had no time left to feel sad.
Unfortunately, we were interrupted by a third party just as we were about to deal with the guard. I am assuming it is the Satsuma.
Oh no! Are Nagakura and Harada and Heisuke alright?
Our men are outnumbered, but we have the upper hand in skill. Still, I'm unsure how long they'll be able to hold off such an overwhelming force.
Then we need to send reinforcements right away. Shimada and I can go.
Just as Inoue stood up, there was an explosion of noise from outside. What was that noise? Shocked glances were exchanged just as Shimada came through the door, distress plain on his face. Crap, I knew it was gonna happen. I should have... They're just gonna follow me wherever I go. Bleh.
We're under attack. It's a demon.
What? Why now?
Oh, I doubt it's a coincidence. Can you give us any details, Shimada? Is it just a single demon, or are there two or three? Oh, no, only one. He's thin, with a sword.
Sword. It's Shikage Kazuma.
Our favorite bad boy's back. We ran through the door, then came to a sudden halt frozen by the scene before us. Everywhere there were bodies, and the air was thick with the stench of blood. Ugh. The scent was so strong that one need not be a fury to be driven mad by it.
These are all men from the Fury Corps. Did Kazuma do this by himself?
If the Fury Corps is here, then Sanon must be nearby as well. Where is he? Over there.
Whoa. Whoa! Alright! It's the fake demon against the real one.
This is all a pretender could do. Pathetic imitation. Die like the dog you are.
Did he get him? One of the Furies who'd leapt at Kazuma alongside Sanon fell to the ground with a groan.
Damn you!
You're better than this filth. But you're still nothing more than a pale reflection of true power.
Of all the Fury Corps, Sanon was the only one who could even begin to stand before Kazuma's onslaught. but even he was no match for the demon. Kazuma kicked out almost casually at a charging fury, throwing him across the yard, and continued his slow walk forward. Damn.
Stay back, Yukimura. We'll take care of him.
But...
Kazuma is dangerous, but he isn't the only enemy here. You never know when his comrades may show up. Besides, the Furies could go rogue at any moment, and there's a high chance they could threaten us.
The two eventually nodded to one another and ran off, sword in hand.
Yukimura, please hide inside. We will go after Kazuma.
Hey! Shimada ran and went off to back up Sanon and Inui. I didn't know why Kazuma had chosen this time to attack. Well, obviously because most of the main force are off fighting somewhere else. But even if I faced him, I would be completely useless. What then was I to do? Oh, Saito. Well, I stayed behind for a certain reason, and that was for Okita. Of course. Okita was still resting. Inoue had said so. What if the Furies attacked him now? That thought shook me to my core. Oh no. And I took off for his room. Gotta save my boo! At least you're dressed. Okita! By the time I reached his room, Okita was already preparing for battle. His swords were strapped to his waist, and as I stepped in, he slipped me a grin. You took too long. Nobody came to get me, so I figured I'd go out on my own. Are you feeling better? Of course. I wasn't real happy about being told to stay here, but it looks like I'll get to have some fun after all. You are not better. Oh, I was such a fool. For just a moment, I'd forgotten just how serious Okita's illness was. Please, don't do this. The rest of the Shinsengumi has the situation under control. Please, go back to bed. He glared at me with his sharp gaze. Are you serious? You really think Gen and Yamazaki stand a chance against that demon who put me through the ringer back at Ikeda? Well, if Gen is murdered by that demon, do you know how much that would mess Kondo up? But still, I'm fine. This is nothing. I can still fight. I'm not useless, you know.
It's not nice to brush aside someone who's worried about you.
I spun around and my eyes went wide. Kaoru? You look quite a bit different. Remember this guy? This was no doubt the person I'd met that day in the city, but her once tied-up hair was now cut and hung just above her shoulders. The beautiful kimono she wore when we'd first met was long gone, replaced with a black jacket and pants that signaled her being ready for battle. In fact, she looked like he.
This is my true self. I apologize for lying about my sex, but I had good reason to.
So, you're a guy, huh? Interesting. So, my brother? Are you a demon? Are you like my true brother? Are we twins? Are you younger? Twins, probably. I have a lot of questions. Why are you here now? Either Okita didn't much care, or he'd already known. What are the odds that the girl dresses up as a guy and the guy dresses up as a girl? In any event, he seemed unsurprised. I didn't have the same luxury. Wait, what do you mean? He gave me an oddly unsettling smile.
I kept my true self hidden for only one reason. The same reason I've come here tonight. I'm here to save my sister.
Sister?
I'm talking about you, Chizaru.
What? True, we looked alike, but... sister? No. No way!
I realize this is rather confusing to you. Let me explain. When our family refused to help overthrow the shogunate and was destroyed, you were taken in by Kodo, and I was taken in by the Nagamo family from the Tosa domain. We were separated.
Our family? Did he say Kodo? Not father?
Maybe Kodo intended on telling you after you grew up a little more. You are not related to Kodo by blood.
I wish you would have figured that out already, because otherwise you'd have to put two and two together and realize your father was a demon the entire time, and that's not possible. Kodo Yukimura is not the protagonist's real father. He adopted and raised her when she was the only surviving member of the destroyed Yukimura clan. So did he take on my name for the lie, or is he a different kind of member of the family, or is that not his name at all?
Our parents died when our hometown, the Yukimura's village, was destroyed.
Each word out of Kaoru's mouth hit me like a fist. Our real parents were long dead, and the man I thought to be my father was not even related to me. What other truths were really lies? Kaoru gestured at his face, so uncannily similar to my own.
I share your face, and yet you still won't believe me. Perhaps my sword will convince you then.
Ah. Same one, eh? Oh my goodness! You have a bigger version of mine!
My Dietsuren is the companion of your own Shotsuren.
Alright. A sword belonging to Kaoru Nagamo. It is an heirloom of the Yukimura family, and it is said to have once belonged to Suzuka Gozen. Oh. There's Suzuka Gozen again, okay. I need, Shotsuren? Let's see. Is that 8? There we go. The name of a short sword belonging to the protagonist. It is an heirloom of the Yukimura family, and it is said to have originally belonged to Suzuka Gozen. So what is Sen's relation to us?
They were separated, along with us.
No! My father never said—
I'm sure Kodo intended on telling you eventually, along with the painful past of humanity's tyranny.
As much as my mind was telling me none of this was true, I realized what he just revealed to me matched up with what Sen had told me before. So you're a demon too. If we were born to the same house, like Kaoru claimed, then he would be a demon. A demon who becomes the successor of the Nagamo family from the Tosa domain. Kaoru is usually disguised as a girl, but is actually the protagonist's older brother. You're my older brother. That's a little bit concerning.
Yes, I am. You seem awfully calm, Okita.
Should I be excited? None of this is really my problem. Can I ask you something, though? Seeing as you're a demon, do you just plan to use her like Kazuma does? What? I looked back and forth from Okita to Kaoru, not sure what to do. Kaoru simply smiled as the room's tension snapped taut.
No, that's not my intent. Can I ask you a question in return? What would you have done if I'd said yes? Would you have tried to stop me with that broken body?
The room was silent. When Okita spoke, no, you're free to take her. I don't care what either of you are up to. Oh, don't say that! His words were what I'd expected and feared. Why would you say that?
I see.
I'd known just how little Okita thought of me, but to hear him say it. I love you. There was a part of me, a small part, that was bigger than what I'm admitting to, that had hoped for a different answer. Now, will you get out of my way?
No, I will not. You can't fight anyone right now.
Like hell I can't.
You're awfully determined, aren't you? Very well. Here.
The bottle Kaoru held out shone in the moonlight, the thick red liquid inside it licking at the sides. I recognized that liquid all too well. Very painful memories were suddenly resurrected. Where did you get that, Kaoru?
Kodo gave it to me.
My father gave you that? This is...
It is true that I am a demon. I have been told to cooperate with Kazuma and his men because of the relationship between the Satsuma, Choshu, and Tosa.
Kaoru's gaze drifted down toward the floor.
But if their plan is to simply use my dear sister as some sort of demonic broodmare, I can't allow that to happen.
Well, thanks, bro. So, you want me to drink the water of life and protect her, is that it? Seems pretty selfish.
I'm sorry if it seems that way, but the choice is yours. You can lie in bed, cursing your illness and crying for battle, or you can drink this and become a fury. So does the captain of the Shinsengumi's 1st Division really desire to lie in his bed and die as he coughs up blood?
No, Okita, you can't! Okita had seen the suffering of the Furies countless times. They were almost pitiable creatures who couldn't bear the sun's light, going mad at the scent of blood. If he became one of them, If you became a Fury, Okita, wouldn't that break Kondo's heart? Kondo. You have a lot of respect for Kondo, right, Okita? Please, don't do anything that would hurt Kondo so, Okita. Please! Okita bit his lip. However, Kaoru didn't stop. What is your game?
Ever since you started suffering from tuberculosis, I wonder how many times the chief of the Shinsengumi thought to himself, if only Souji were here. I'm sure even today, if you weren't sick, he would have ordered you to be there.
Ow. That's cruel. Please, Kaoru, don't do this! If you're really my brother, and you really care for me, then why are you doing this to Okita? Just as I screamed that... Hello? Before he could answer, 4 human shapes leapt through the door. Oh, crap. Furies! He reached for his sword the moment he saw their red eyes, but his body no longer obeyed him as it once had. Crap. His hands fumbled on the hilt and the sword clattered to the floor. This is all I am now. Souji Okita, the captain of the Shinsengumi's 1st Division. What was Okita thinking? Was he sad at how powerless he felt? Angry? In the darkness, I could only barely see his face, and his emotions were hidden from me. Then suddenly he moved, snatching the bottle from Kaoru's hand. I can't let him do it. This is not the way. Okita, no! If you drink that! He glared at the Furies, perhaps taking in the monster he was about to become. Well, he appreciated me trying to stop him. Then he looked over at me, and on his face was the faint, sideways smile I'd seen so many times before. Man, you really never shut up, do you? He threw back his head, and I watched the red liquid drain from the bottle. No! No, I tried. Darn it. You're gonna be useless, though. Didn't you see what happened to Sanan? When he first took it, he was just convulsing. Kaoru smiled. More Furies, hungry for blood, ran into the room. I froze, terrified. Blood fell like rain. Blood drawn by a white-haired monster who had left his humanity behind. Grah! This was Okita the Fury. Okita the Beast. Hey, it was appropriate I sang a Beauty and the Beast song earlier, I guess. In exchange for the strength to lift his sword once again, he had traded away his soul. He became a Fury after drinking the water of life given to him by Kaoru Nagamo. Oh, damn. Wow. He went all Hulk on them. His snow-white hair fluttered like a blizzard as he swung his swords at the Furies. The carnage lasted only seconds, though it seemed longer. All that remained of the Furies were bleeding corpses. That is unfortunate. Okita. Now I'm all sad. Fresh blood dripped from his pure white hair, the proof of the curse. Happy now, Kaoru Nagamo.
Yes, I am. You were splendid, SOUJI Okita. There are no words to express my gratitude.
He clapped once and then a cruel smile split his face.
For falling into my trap.
Gah! Even with the water of life, the battle had weakened him. I caught Okita just before he hit the floor. Okita! Are you okay? Why did... His hair was back to its normal color. It hid only temporarily his true nature, but having even a piece of the old Okita back was a relief. Was I a fool for feeling that way?
Chizaru, you asked why I, your brother, would offer the water of life to your dear Okita.
What? I didn't understand. What was he saying? Kaoru smiled again.
You don't get it, do you? I gave him the water of life precisely because you care for him.
What? I glared furiously at this boy who claimed to be my brother. What's so funny? He only smiled wider.
Oh, I'm not smiling because it's funny. I'm just happy. I'm happy I got to make my sister suffer. Unlike me, my sister was loved by everyone. I'm happy to see you suffer.
His voice had changed. There was a manic edge to it now. And the more he talked, the more his grotesque grin twisted his face. In his eyes, I saw more madness than in those of a fury.
The Naganmo family had hoped for a female demon who could bear them children. They were disappointed to discover they had ended up with the male twin. I suppose I can't blame them for what they did. I simply wasn't equipped to produce children, no matter what they did to me. I was worthless.
How many times was he told how worthless he was? When he spoke, the word had the sound of one he'd heard so many times that it was simply part of him.
Of course, anyone who told me that has long since been, dispatched.
I wasn't such a fool that I couldn't guess what that meant. To speak of murder so easily.
I have the same blood and the same face as my sister. But because I have the wrong equipment, I was treated like trash. Less than trash. And whose fault do you think that is?
Why is it my fault? Blame the person who divvied us up if you want. I looked at that hideous smile twisting the flesh of his face, my face, and shivered. There's a chance that I could look like that. And I didn't want to believe it. I couldn't help but touch my face to make sure.
Does it bother you to see this face smile like this? I know how you feel, sister. Whenever I saw you happy, it made me so angry.
With that last word, he lunged from my neck, hands outstretched. Ah! Gah! Fingers like iron closed around my throat.
I'd like to see that face again. The one you made when Okita the human died, and Okita the monster was born. Sadly, I don't think that's possible, but oh, it was delectable. Far better than I'd imagined. I'm glad I chose someone you really cared for.
You! Did he trick Okita just to see me suffer? You!
Oh, does it hurt? Are you frightened of me? Ah, but this is only the beginning, dear sister.
He let go of my neck. I fell to the floor, my chest burning. Raw, hacking coughs tore their way out of my throat. As Kaoru faded into the shadows, I saw a last gentle smile, and then his laughter filled the night.
Chizaru Yukimura, Your brother will always be dreaming of your misery.
Tears began to pour from my eyes. There was a man, my brother, who hated me so passionately that he would destroy another man for no other reason than to hurt me. Oh, Okita! My hands tightened around him. Okita didn't care about me one way or the other, but because I cared for him, he'd been thrown into hell. I'm sorry! I'm so sorry! He got manipulated. I tried to stop him. Speaking of butterflies and moons, how are we doing? We are in full bloom, officially. The attack on the Watch, as well as the assassination of Ito, later became known collectively as the Aberona Koji incident. An unexpected turn from both the demons and the Satsuma, from their trap lane, resulted in a number of casualties for the Shinsengumi and the Watch, including Heisuke's fatal wound. Oh no! Even Heisuke? In order for Heisuke to live, he had no choice but to drink the water of life. While this was all going on, Chikage Kazuma took the time to strike at the heart of our compounds. The Fury Corps were called to our aid at the last second, and then Okita too was brought down the path of becoming a Fury. So, not only was Sanan a Fury, but now Heisuke and Okita were as well. The serum, brought into the Shinsengumi by my father, was now slowly eating all of them away. My heart began sinking from the weight of all this. This sucks. Well, crap. This music again. December 1867. Scarcely a month had passed since Aberona Koji. Saito and Heisuke had returned, but the Shinsengumi was hardly back to normal. A dark, tense atmosphere pervaded the compound. Many men had lost their lives in Kazuma's attacks. Even more had been injured during the attack at Aberona Koji. Among them was Heisuke. Several of the rank-and-file soldiers had seen him mortally wounded. He had looked as if he would not survive. For that reason, Heisuke was declared officially dead and made a member of the Fury Corps. Oh my, that's what you look like, eh? He survived the Aberona Koji incident by becoming a Fury and rejoined the Shinsengumi. The official record showed him as deceased. I guess he didn't stand with Ito at the end, at least. Saito hadn't been wounded, but many among the common soldiers began to call him a coward. To them, he had left the Shinsengumi to join Ito, then betrayed his new master when he sensed a change in fortunes. I saw no reason why he shouldn't set them straight, and say that he had never truly left the Shinsengumi, but he claimed he would rather stay silent than tarnish the honor of the commander and the chief who had ordered his actions. Saito. As such, it was decided that Saito would leave the compound until tempers had been allowed to cool. He was sent to stay at Tenma in order to protect Kyotaro Miura, an official of the Kishu domain. Saito guarded Kyotaro Miura of the Kishu domain by using this inn as a hiding place. It was nighttime. As I passed the entrance, I saw Okita. Okita sat alone, gazing up at the sky. What was he thinking, I wondered. I thought about calling out to him, but I hesitated. What are you doing, Chizaru? Just get over here already. Okay. I walked over and sat down quietly next to him. In the light of the stars, his face looked pale. Whether it was a trick of the light or a pallor of the skin, I couldn't tell. How are you feeling? You mean my sickness? Or about being a Fury now? Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to put you on the spot like that. It's been a little rough during the day, but my body seems to be healing up pretty good. They told me if I get some rest, I shouldn't have any problems swinging around a sword like I used to. Something in his voice suggested he was trying to convince himself as much as he was trying to convince me. Why don't we go back inside? It's winter now, though. Sitting outside at night stargazing can't be good for your health. Oh, I can handle this easy. It's not that cold. Being in bed all the time is depressing. Seems worse for my body, too. Well, that might be true, but Kyoto winters aren't anything to scoff at. Yeah, I know. I remember everyone complaining when we first moved here. Still, the cold's not something I've ever minded. I suppose it is kind of bracing. Yeah. It's been getting colder, though. I think it might snow. Yeah. I opened my mouth and shut it again. I'd run out of things to say. Okita was quiet as well. His eyes were trained to the sky, and he was perfectly still, like a statue carved from ice. Hey. Yes? I chose this myself. Pretty stupid of you to blame yourself. Huh? What do you mean? Momentarily distracted by his grin, I didn't immediately catch what he meant. You blame yourself, right? For me drinking the serum. No. Don't give me that. You couldn't lie to a baby, so stop trying to pull one over on me. You don't need to worry about it, okay? This was my decision, and I don't regret it. I felt like I should speak, but I didn't know what to say. We sat there in silence for a few more minutes, and then he turned to me again. Oh, no! You're admitting. We're in full bloom here. You shouldn't get involved with a guy like me. That came out of nowhere. My mind went blank. I didn't know how to respond. Was he joking as always? I looked back at him, but I couldn't read the truth from his expression. I said, or at why at? I said save at, is what I say. I mean, I know why, and he's just gonna self-deprecate himself. I wonder if I say no, if it's kind of like, well, I mean, you are kind of the worst. And he's like, well, hey, you don't have to be quite so mean. I'll see if this is, like, lighthearted at all. No. I returned his gaze, forcing myself to look just as solemn as he did. Sorry, what did you say? I said no. Ha. Oh no, he's crying! This is what I was hoping for. Ah, man. What kind of a woman are you? Won't even cut an invalid any slack. Hey! You can't just act like you're sick when you want something. That's not fair. Yeah. I really am sick, though. Well, I'm not just sick. I'm dead. Nothing alive in here anymore. His words cut into my heart just as deeply as any sword. No, don't say that. How can you be dead? You're here with me, talking and moving around. A corpse can't do that. True. But whatever's doing this talking and moving, it's not human. No, that's not true. I don't know what you see, but I drank that stuff. I felt it. I know what I am now. I've stopped coughing, too. I guess it heals more than wounds, huh? It's not like there isn't a price to pay, though. Trying to do anything during the day is... well, it's rough. I drank the serum thinking that it'd help my condition, and I'd hoped that I could be useful to Kondo again, you know. But if I can't even walk around during daytime, or go on rounds, or kill any bastards for Kondo, then what good am I to anyone? I'm just useless. Until this point, I'd never seen Okita open up so much, let alone show any sign of vulnerability to me. Was it really so important for him to be in Kondo's service? I guess I understand where he's coming from, but I don't think Kondo wants you around just because he wants you to do things for him. Okita shot me a bitter glance that was something usually reserved for his enemies. Would you mind not trying to speak for Kondo? You've only known us for 4 years. What do you know? I had a feeling he was going to say that. Yes, it's true that I've only spent time with everyone here for only 4 years. But then again, it's not like you're capable of knowing exactly how Kondo truly feels. So you think you are, then? I can't say I know for certain. But in the least, the Kondo I know? If you're alive, or even if you were dead, or something else, I'm sure he would think you are who you are, Okita. He would say that, more than anything, he's happy to see you alive and healthy. Okita seemed taken aback to hear me suggest such a thing, but eventually... I might have convinced him. Do you really think he thinks that? Do you think Kondo would still need me? Even if I can't hold a sword anymore? Yes, of course. I feel that way about you, and I've only been here for 4 years. Oh, girl, so proud of you! For someone like Kondo, who's known you for even longer than that, I'm sure he'd feel even more strongly about it than that. What do you think the Kondo in your heart would think, Okita? Okita looked up again at the sky, as if reflecting upon every moment through the years of their relationship. Hey! You're right. He's a good man. I'm sure even if I wasn't able to fight anymore, he wouldn't turn his back on me. His expression seemed to brighten, even if just a little, and it relieved me to see him cheer up, no matter how small of a change it was. You have to take care of Kondo. I'm sure Kondo understands that you made that choice because you had to. But still, knowing that you drank the water of life, it must still sadden him. Yeah, I know. This conversation with Okita made me realize I was never human. But if I were to pretend that I was, and I made decisions in my life to reflect this, would there still be people who'd accept me for who I am? What's the matter, Chizaru? No, it's nothing. Doesn't look like nothing. Why don't you tell me? I kinda suck at cheering people up, but at least I can lend you an ear. Okita was being as curt as he always was, but... it felt like the first time he showed me that he must really care for me. Maybe, just maybe, it was his way of paying me back for earlier. Keeping this in mind, I decided that this was a good opportunity to tell him what was going through my mind. I am just jealous of you, Okita, that you have someone like Kondo by your side. In that moment, I recalled Kaoru's hateful eyes. The intensity of his grudge held against me. It turned out that I'm not a normal human. And knowing my brother by blood felt as he did. As the bitter memories rushed back, I felt a wave of melancholy and unconsciously bit my lips. Oh yeah, huh. I totally forgot. I hadn't even thought about the fact that you weren't human, or that you were a demon, really. As he said that, I felt the tension in my heart ever so slightly. Okita didn't seem to care that I wasn't human. Eventually, his eyes squinted as they darted up to watch the clouds from above before he spoke. Besides, you mentioned your brother or whatever, but... at the end of the day, family is just a bunch of strangers that happen to be related to you by blood. They aren't people that you chose. They just happened to be there when you were born, you know. I don't think there's anything for you to worry about. What? I didn't expect those words, and I was speechless. Family is just a bunch of strangers that happen to be related to you by blood. They aren't people I chose, so don't worry. I'd never heard it explained like that. Such words of comfort were rare from him, and the confusion with which I'd been burdened over the last few days began to feel much lighter. Thank you. Warmth was welling up from the bottom of my heart. If any other person had said these words to me, I don't think I would feel the same way I do now. Hey, Okita. Do you think we could be close enough to talk again like this someday? Man. What am I going to do with you? You're a real weirdo, you know that. Alright then, do what you want. I don't mind talking to you either. Yes, I think I will. Somehow my chin had acquired something of an arrogant tilt under the cold winter sky. You crazy kids.